Baseball is back. We are on the eve of the return of baseball, and we are hyped. Let's break it down. This is Seriously Butthurt Sports. We are back. That's right. Baseball is back, bitches. It is time again. The most wonderful time of the year. We are so excited to have baseball, and we are breaking it down for you. Seriously, Butthurt Sports. We are amped up to talk about it. How's it going, guys?
Wonderful. Greatest sport in the world finally back.
Finally back. I got three co-hosts here today. I got Frankie Segura, I got Rye Guy, I got Ralph Lindsay, Ralphie. All right, so let's break it down. Let's recap a little bit from last week's episode. Frankie, how'd you do with Tiger?
Yeah. Tiger was more like a little kitten, actually.
he did not play well, but Frankie won his bet.
Tiger made the cut. The guy hadn't played for about 5 months. Plus, let's be honest, he's more worried about chasing that number 18 of Jack than winning that next tournament.
Absolutely. He was a little sloppy. He wasn't too bad. I mean, I watched a little bit of mostly the highlights, but I mean, he didn't make the cut. But sloppy, but yeah, understandable. He was out.
You think he was hurt?
No. Nah, he wasn't hurt.
So.
I watched all 4 rounds. His putting is what really did him in this past weekend. He needed a little better putting. Again, he hadn't played since the match 2.
Let's be fair to Tiger. I think the course played really tough. I think conditions were very tough. So for those of you who don't know, we're all amateur golfers. Actually, Ralph is actually a lot better.
He's a pro.
He should be semi-pro actually. Yeah.
Well, it was because they played. There was the tournament before the Memorial, the weekend before, was also played at the same exact golf course. Mm-hmm. It was literally 2 different golf courses in the matter of a week.
Well, did you hear about what happened with that? So a lot of these players came back after the course was played the week before and said it was pretty easy. And Nicholas says, "I'll fix your ass." And he basically changed all the holes.
Jack, in true fashion, said, "Well, you're not calling my course easy again, so screw you."
He put the pin in the most brutal positions.
He let the fairway grass grow a little bit taller.
Oh, and the weather helped him out too with the wind.
Oh, yeah.
The wind came into play.
That wasn't helping out anybody.
And your boy representing España pulled it off. Jon
Only
Rahm,
the second Spaniard to ever be number 1 in the world.
That's right. And number 1, even with the 2-stroke penalty at the end. What
are you guys' thoughts on that? I mean, it moves so slightly. I don't know. I wouldn't give the penalty on that.
Jim Nantz was saying that the rules, it has to be by not by our rules. That's right. It has to be by the naked eye. So, I mean, to me, I wouldn't, don't.
Because when you adjust the ball, you put your club, behind it like you normally do. But they had the camera angle like super zoomed up in that, and you can see the the logo on the ball just move that much. But I mean, I don't know.
It didn't change the outcome.
Right? Yeah, it didn't change the outcome.
Yeah, it's whenever it comes to golf and those types of rules, it's always very nitpicky. I mean, I forget who it was, but there have actually been times where people watching tournaments have called in, and players have gotten penalties because a fan watching the round called into the USGA and told them, "Hey, this happened." Then they went back, looked at it, and then had to apply a penalty because it actually happened.
Yeah.
So look, outcome didn't change. He still won.
Yeah, I think it would be a different story if the outcome had changed.
Yeah.
It would be a bigger story than what it is. But
absolutely.
It goes to show you what a wide margin he won that tournament by. So
I was thinking that that Ryan Palmer was going to come back at the end because Rahm couldn't hit a fairway, he couldn't make a putt, and then after that chip onto the green and he sunk that, it was game over. It was game over. He was rolling. So anyway, now that we had that awesome lead up into baseball and we kind of deflated a little bit with golf, but that's okay. Golf's cool too. We're going to get right back into baseball. So let's talk about a little bit about the Mets-Yankees exhibition games. Who wants to go first? Ralph, go ahead. Take it away. What do you think? Any feedback?
As a Yankee fan, I am loving the at-bats the Yankees are having in these last three.
I wasn't sure what you were going to say.
I mean,
just nitpick something, but
I mean, the amount of home runs that were hit in those two games alone, especially something that was very, very encouraging, specifically Judge and his 2 home runs in the second game against the Mets. What was very encouraging is the fact that he got to a high inside fastball and pulled it over the fence. That was very, very encouraging because I think what him and also Stanton hit one freaking absolute moonshot as well.
Did you see Mike Ford, was it last night? Hit
a
I saw that too. 627 feet or something like that.
Mike Ford.
The wind was blowing at the right, the right time.
Ryan, what's your take on the exhibition game?
I think, again, it's good to see baseball back. The Mets, kind of look like they're in midseason form. But, Yankees are just hot. Again, we were talking about the home runs and everything like that. What Cano's, blooped error on second and everything like that. It's still spring. It's, the spring season or spring training, the summer camp, whatever you want to call it.
Games start Friday.
Yeah. Exactly. We're there, but both Yankees and Mets they had their sloppiness here and there, but Yankees bats are just hot. Everything else, the bullpen looked good too. Starting pitching, all looked pretty well.
Yep. Mets fan. What do you think?
Obviously I don't like to see my team lose, but I also take it with a grain of salt over here, which it is preseason.
Doesn't count, but the season is next week or is in a couple days. So this is the team you're kind of getting. Obviously you're going to start seeing more options down to AAA and things like that.
Yes and no. For example, I was more interested in the first game that they were playing because Rick Porcello was pitching. Mm-hmm. The second game, Oswalt was pitching, which he's not going to be a starter. He might be a spot starter.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say one thing that I kind of caught in the first game that some people may not have is I was kind of really interested to see what Diaz was going to do for the Mets. And, obviously every Mets fan, it's a big question mark on their success is Diaz. So, obviously the Mets had 2 errors at the beginning of that inning. And then Diaz was able to strike out. I forgot who the batter was. But he was able to get the strikeout, and they went and they pulled him from the game right away after that. I thought that was a very smart move. You want to get him out of there with a positive note instead of, sticking it out with like, oh, well, this game doesn't count anyways. Let him get some reps in. I think it was very good to pull him out, let him leave on a positive note. I thought his pitching looked lights out to me. And those 2 – he should have been out of that inning with that strikeout anyways because of those 2 errors beforehand. But overall, I think on both sides, Yankees and Mets, I saw a lot of errors. And I think because of the way that this year is going to be, I think in the early season, you're going to see a lot of errors happen, and you're going to see a lot of scoring happen because of those errors. But the Yankees, they don't call them the Bronx Bombers for nothing. They capitalize on those errors, which that leads to success. So,
absolutely, for the most part, I do get frustrated with the Yankees. It seems like they're kind of carrying over the same thing that they've had for the last couple of years of just leaving so many men on base. I'm not sure of the actual number that they did, but as I was multitasking and listening and watching the game, it's just like 2 men on, 1 man on. It's like start playing small ball. We say that every year, but then they end up hitting a shit ton of home runs anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So
I was gonna say that's always the case. Even last year in the season before that, it's always Yankees are leaving men on base. The score is going to be much higher. It could have been much higher, but again, if you play the small ball and go for the base hits versus just hitting the bombs and the dingers.
Well, here in the first game against the Mets, the Yankees left 6 men on base. In the second game, they left 7 on base. So between the 2 games, it's 13 men left on base. So
It's going to be a high number.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a high number again, especially when you have such an explosive lineup like that. I did see some promising things in the Mets. I think they have a good season coming up. But we're gonna break down some projections. But first, I was talking to Frankie today about just the outlandish projections that I'm seeing on Bleacher Report and Sports Illustrated. I saw the Rays, the Athletics going all the way. I mean, is it the 60 game season that's kind of throwing these kind of sleepers out there, Frankie?
I think you have to say that. I mean, everything that I read, because I mean, obviously when we were talking earlier, we were saying, where are these people getting this from? Where are they project? How can they see this? And maybe I'm blind. I don't know, but
right.
What I read this morning was that a lot of these projections are happening based off of analytics and computers. The computers are giving you the probability of whatever team is going to win. So,
yeah, and that's how baseball is going, is that more analytical route, which
exactly like I was.
Yeah,
telling Nick,
what route me and Frankie go, and Ryan. The sports book, baby. Whatever the sports book tells me, that's what I'm rolling with.
Well, does it have to do with a lot with like the interleague play and everything like that? I mean, they're not really, I don't know. I think that's probably weighing heavier on these stats or these analytics that they're going for.
I don't know. One projection I had was the Athletics were going to win the World Series. I mean, come on. Who's going to, on their right mind, going to bet that?
I don't know. I'm curious to see what the odds are.
A diehard A's fan?
Yeah.
Maybe. I'll gladly take his money.
A diehard A's fan who's just going to put the bet down just for the hell of it, because if it hits, it's going to be a big payout.
Oh, yeah, because it's their team. If it hits, it's a big payout.
What are the I saw a lot of Angels, too.
Well, the Angels did make a lot of moves in the offseason. Obviously they have a new coach. And
Rendon.
And Rendon.
They signed a great another great bat to put in that lineup with Trout.
If you want to put your money on the Athletics, plus 2,500.
There you go.
I mean, one of the ratings I was looking at, they were giving them 32 wins. I mean, they're actually in the projections. I think it was MLB. That's I was kind of going off mine, but MLB or Fangraphs. It was the Fangraphs report, which was 32 wins, 20 loss. So, I mean, they're up there, but, I mean, how they normally play, if it was a normal season, I don't think so. I think that would be, they may be close to 500. I think they'd still be, under 500.
Well, with that, let's roll through our predictions. We're gonna break down the division winners, the wild card winners. Starting out with, what do we say? The American League? Let's start out with the American
National League.
All right, let's start out with the National League then. Fine.
National League.
So be it. All right. Ralph, what do you have for the NL East?
So, I know Frankie's gone against us a couple times in a couple past episodes, but I actually do believe the Braves are going to come out of the NL East as a division winners. I know Frankie said a couple times, well, they haven't made a lot of offseason moves, but making offseason moves and signing a big name doesn't always necessarily correlate to doing better. And just as the opposite, just because you don't make a big move doesn't mean you're going to do worse. Sure. You got to remember, the Braves won 97 games last year. They won the NL East last year. They were the division winners. And they have a young lineup with two rising stars in Acuna Jr. and Ozzie Albies. They have Marcell Ozuna, who's a good bat as well. And their pitching staff isn't actually that bad. Max Fried, I believe it was Max Fried, had 17 wins last year. Soroka had 13 wins. Fulton, I can't even pronounce his name, Fultonechitz, however you say it. He's one of their better pitchers as well.
Nuts.
So the Braves I think are going to come out of the NL East as the top team again. And yes, I know the Nationals are coming off the World Series, but we got to remember last year, the Nationals did not have a good start to the season. It was the second half of the season that got them just into the wild card spot. So I think the Braves are going to get off to a hot start, and they're going to ride it with this short 60-game season.
All right. Give us your NL Central. We'll roll through each.
My NL Central,
keep it short.
I actually went with the Cubs. I think the Cubs lineup is just a lineup that'll get through a 60-game season to put them in the number 1 spot.
Fair enough. NL West. I think we know the answer to
West
this.
Dodgers.
All right. Right guy. NL East. Go.
Very similar to Ralph's. I mean, I went with NL East. I went with, this was my only different one, was Washington. Again, going off, I mean, I think it was tough between the Braves and Washington, but again, going off the World Series win last year and everything like that, they're kind of riding on that momentum. Just an overall good team, very well, built, a good, bullpen, good starting rotation. I don't know, just going with Washington. Then for NL Central and NL West, then we got the Cubs and the Dodgers. I think Mookie Betts is going to be a good addition to the Dodgers. I mean, he was good with Boston and everything like that, so I think he's going to be a weapon for the Dodgers. So I definitely think he's
especially with the DH in the NL now.
Yeah, exactly.
Could you imagine if we didn't have a season that trade would be null because he'd go into free agency?
Yeah, but the Dodgers also would not have gotten the three guys they traded back.
No,
the Dodgers would have completely lost out because Mookie Betts would have literally been able to sign with whoever he wanted, and the Red Sox would have kept the 3 guys that they got.
Yep. So. Frank, NL, go.
All right, I'm gonna go into the NL a little bit deeper than the rest, just because it's my division there. So I'm gonna go against the grain here, and no, I'm not gonna say the Mets. I'm gonna say the Phillies. I'm gonna say the Phillies are gonna come out on the top. All right. I don't like the Phillies, but I like the moves that they made. New head coach Girardi. I thought
the manager in baseball.
I thought the thing that the Phillies needed was a pitcher, and they got him by Zach Wheeler, and Zach Wheeler was just getting better and better and better. I kind of hated to see him leave, but I was okay by getting Rick Porcello to replace him, so that was okay with me.
I'd rather have Wheeler.
Yeah, me too. Now I'm gonna kind of make a little controversy. All these ifs. I mean, with a Mets fan, it's always, well, if this guy can do this, if this guy can do that, If all the ifs happen, I believe the Mets are going to come in second in this division, okay? Cespedes, everybody forgets that. Everybody forgets that Cespedes was out of the lineup all last year. That 2015 World Series run was because of Cespedes putting them all on his back. That is a huge bat that the Mets need, and they protect. And now you have Alonso. 2015, you didn't have Alonso.
Well, if he puts the entire Mets team on his back, I don't think his ankles will hold up.
Well, I think Cespedes also sent something out today that opening day he's going to be DH.
Yes, they did come out and say that he's going to DH, but every Mets fan knew that, and that's where they want him anyway.
And that's fine.
Yeah, they start him off slow.
People also Alonso and Cespedes don't have to carry that team. They do have other bats in that lineup now.
McNeil,
Smith.
Nimmo,
Smith, J.D. Davis. They have
so their lineup.
This team is going to produce runs.
Yeah, to me, it's not that outlandish if the Mets wind up second or maybe even first if everything goes their way.
And if Diaz was half of what he was the year before, they would have been in the playoffs no problem. Yeah. How many games did he blow for them? So I think Rojas will make a move sooner than Callaway. If he sees that Diaz is struggling, we have pieces now to play with Betances and Lugo. He will make that move a little sooner because 60 games, you can't play around with 60 games. So
Nope. You have to come out of the gate hot.
Absolutely. Right. So next was the Nationals in this division. I know you're top.
You're going the whole division.
I'm just going to do this with the East.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with the Nationals as the second one. Yes, they lost Rendon. But did anybody here realize that they picked up Starlin Castro?
Yeah. I saw his Instagram.
I saw that.
I don't know how I missed that. I looked it up today. I was like, they picked up Starlin Castro. So I thought that was a really good move by them.
I like Starlin Castro.
He was the main guy on the Marlins.
He was a hero for the Yankees.
When he was the Yankees, he played really well too.
Yankees.
So I think he's going to do really good for the Nationals, and obviously the pitching is outstanding.
Jeter doesn't like to keep talent down there, man. I don't know what it is.
He's stocking it up. He's stocking all the chips.
Exactly. He's going prospect right now.
He's out of chips, though. I don't think he's got anybody, maybe the water boy or something like that, So I think the Nationals are definitely going to give him a run for their money. And I'm going to stick with what I had to say before. And I don't think the Braves they didn't make any moves. I thought they took a step back last year than they did the year before. I thought the year before they were a little bit better. And then the Marlins are
win
like
97 games.
You
win
think
the
it was a
division,
fluke?
and that's a step back.
I think it was a fluke. I do
Okay.
think it was a fluke. The reason why I say that is if you look at the schedule, as you were saying before, the Nationals got off to a terrible start last year.
Yeah.
Terrible. And they actually showed if the schedule was how it is this year, as it was last year, Nationals wouldn't have even been in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to take a look at that also. Basically nobody can have a slow start here.
Yeah.
And obviously
Right.
scraping the bottom of the barrel here is the Marlins. So
Which goes back to why people have so many weird, like, outlandish predictions, because everyone's just looking at a 60-game season and saying,
but if you look at the NL East, these top 4 teams, any of them
any of them
potential
could be in. Any one of them could
absolutely.
be in.
And I think at least one of them is going to be in the wild card spot here. So
Yeah.
All right. So moving on, I have NL Central. We're going to do the Brewers are going to be my top spot there. NL West is obviously the Dodgers, followed by the Diamondbacks, and that's it.
Okay, so everybody really left it all on the table, so I'm going to run through mine pretty quick. I think it's pretty cut and dry. I think you have the NL East is going to be won by the Washington Nationals. I think I agree with Frank on the NL Central. I love the Brewers. I think their rotation is decent. I think their bullpen is very good, so I'm going NL Central Brewers. And the NL West, I mean, it's a lock. I don't know where San Diego is coming into play with all this talk. I think they're a couple years away still.
Yeah.
I'm going with, let's go around the horn, and I'm going to start out with my 2 NL wild cards. So I am going to give the first wild card, the top wild card, to the New York Mets. I really do think in the shortened season they could take advantage of it and get one of those wild cards and ride into the playoffs. I think, like Frank said, I think if they gain enough speed, they don't even have to have that great of a record. I think they could go 5 or 6 games above 500 and still make the playoffs and do very well in the playoffs. And my second team that I'm going to give the wild card is the Chicago Cubs. Again, I think they're a good team in the Central. I don't buy into the Reds. I don't buy into the Cardinals anymore. I think they are going to regress as well. I do not think that they are playoff material. Ralphie.
My first wild card is I do have the Nationals. So I have the Nationals coming in that first wild card spot behind the Braves. And my second wild card is actually the Cardinals. The Cardinals are that one team that for whatever reason, they always find a way. They always find a way to get in. They always find a way to make it. It's just one of those teams that somehow does it. So I do.
Did you watch them in the playoffs last year?
Yeah, but again, the Cardinals are one of those teams that just find a way. I don't know. And it's more of a gut feeling than anything when it came to looking at the Cardinals. It's just something that says that they'll find a way, even with how they played in the playoffs last year and with the shortened season and all. They'll find a way to get in that second wild card.
Okay. Right guy. What do you got?
So I went with the Mets and Arizona. You hit the nail on the head, exactly what I was saying. And I think the Mets can, get a few wins, get over 500 and get close. I don't think that they're not going to, secure the division, but I definitely think they can get the wild card. Then I went with Arizona, kind of a long shot. I mean, again, I don't see them coming in last. I don't think see them coming like closer to the bottom, but I think a wild card could be a good option, or they could probably even secure the wild card. But I don't know. That was a tough one for me. But definitely the Mets. I mean, I'm more confident with that. I can definitely see them getting the wild card.
Honestly, I don't think anything's off limits.
Yeah.
I think you get a team that can go on a tear. Anything can happen. Frankie, we know one.
I think everybody knows what my first spot is in the wild card, which is the Mets. I do have the Phillies winning that division, so obviously I think the Mets are the second best in that division right now. And to be honest with you, I think the NL East is the strongest in that division in the National League. So I have Washington coming in as the second wild card here. All right, I think
three East teams.
I think 3 East teams are coming in, and you know what? The most besides the Dodgers, I think that's most of their competition is right there. So once they stop playing each other, then game on.
Okay.
Yeah, the East is definitely a threat for the West, definitely.
Well, the thought occurred to me that 3 East teams might make it into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think I think we talked about that on the first episode. It's definitely
If there was the expanded playoffs,
Correct.
right.
because they didn't come to a deal. There is no expanded playoffs, at least as of right now. Who knows? Maybe halfway through the season, Manfred will say, "Oh, by the way, we're expanding the playoffs."
Yeah, I think that's a possibility. Did they leave that off the table?
It's not off the table, but because they didn't come to an agreement on the season and Manfred had to implement the 60-game season, it's up to him pretty much, from what I read, whether or not they do expanded playoffs or not.
I bet you a lot of people that are on the cusp over there, they're going to say, well, we want the expanded playoffs.
Yeah.
All right. So that was the NL. We'll play it back. I think we'll have a little recap at the end of the season, kind of see where everybody's at. And the person with the worst record is going to have to do
Oh, God.
I don't know.
I'm gonna have to do the podcast shirtless.
It's a kid's show, so
yeah, that's true. We gotta keep it PG.
We got plenty of time to figure something out.
I was thinking we can make Frank play with his putter an entire 18 holes. How demoralizing is that? All right. So let's Frank, you want to start out with the American League? Go ahead.
All right.
Tell us what you
American
got.
League East. I got the Yankees #1 spot.
Duh.
I don't know if you want me to go run through that. Just go one on each.
No, go ahead. Go
right.
give your Central and West.
All right. Well, I have the Central. I have the Twins, top spot there. And then the AL West, I have the Cheaters as the Astros. And then that's it.
Okay. Ryan, what do you got?
I did Yankees. I think we're unanimous on Yankees on AL East.
so.
But I did Yankees, Cubs, and Houston. That's going to be my next one, I think. We're going down to Championship Series and World Series. Or I'm sorry, Championship Series.
Who's your AL Central?
Who's your AL Central?
The Cubs are switching?
We'll get there, Ryan. Go ahead. Relax.
Cubs?
Your
No,
AL
no.
Central. AL Central.
AL
NL
Central.
Central.
Oh, whoops. I had the Cleveland. Sorry about that.
The Indians. There we go.
The Indians. I saw the C there. Whoops.
Hey,
Indians.
the Indians
Go
could
with the
be changing
Indians.
their names. They might be like the Cubs #2.
Oh,
I
jeez.
thought
Just
you
like the
studied.
Washington no names.
I
Yeah.
thought you studied for this test.
I know. I did.
And
It's,
who-
it's a
who's
great.
The Cleveland Indians.
Cleveland. Got
Go
it.
with them.
and who's your West?
West. Sorry about that. AL West. Houston.
Okay, cheaters.
It's all right.
Yeah.
A few years back,
Cheaters.
Nick didn't know that the Jays were in his division over here.
That's not true.
Not
There was
cheaters.
alcohol involved, and I was on a train, and it was moving fast. Anyway, Ralph, what do you got? AL East.
AL East, Yankees.
Oh
see
yeah,
them
why did I
in
even
that division.
ask?
My AL Central is probably a big surprise. This might be one of those like outlandish predictions to some, but I think the White Sox have a chance.
I'm not surprised with that. I think they could. Listen, any young team
Oh yeah.
that's hot, that could get hot and stay hot, I think they have a great chance.
Well, also their lineup is not a bad lineup with Jose Abreu, Yohan Moncada, Tim Anderson, Jimenez, and now Luis Robert. God, have you seen some of the balls he's been hitting?
That's the rookie, right?
Yeah, Luis Robert is
Yeah.
the rookie this year. He has been hitting
Probably the rookie
shots.
of the year.
He could be. And look, I know we're getting into MVP picks later.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
So,
I want to chime in here, but I have the White Sox as #2 in that division too, and I agree. They're a young team. They made a lot of moves here.
mhm.
Moncada has a 4-year deal, I believe, with a 5th-year option.
Mhm.
So I do think they're a rising team. I don't know if they're there yet, but I think they're gonna give the Twins definitely a run for their money in that division.
Yeah. And,
Again,
yeah,
we're gonna be shocked at the end, I think, with the
possibly.
results.
But yeah, the White Sox, it's one of those things. Young team, 60-game season, anything could happen. I think they take that division, even if it's by 1 game. And then, as much as I hate saying it, the West, the Astros are still going to take it. As much as I would love them to miss the playoffs altogether, I think even without having a camera and trash can banging, that they'll still find a way to
Bums.
come out on top of that division.
Yeah, I agree. So mine's very predictable. I'm going Yankees in the East. I am going with the Twins in the Central. I think they are the best team in the Central. I think they will be the best team in the Central for a while until the White Sox come up, and maybe show them how to win an actual playoff game. And the West, I am going to go with the A's.
Ooh.
I do not think I have a small glimmer of hope that we won't even see the Astros in the playoffs, but I do think that the A's will win the West.
It could happen. I could see it.
All right.
I have a
So,
question. Got a
yes,
question. Where do
yes.
you see the Angels in the West?
I see them third.
Okay. I have
I-
them second.
I can't without Mike Trout.
That's very true. That's
Yeah,
very
I
true.
that's-
just can't. I can't have them high on my list.
But Otani feels great. I think he's playing
It-
great. I don't know.
As
Okay.
if he's more stronger on the batting or stronger on the pitching. But overall, I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
he's pretty good.
yeah. All right, let's run through wild card predictions. I will start out. I think that the first wild card will go to the pesky Tampa Bay Rays, and my second is the Chicago White Sox. Because I do not want to see the Astros in the playoffs at all. At all.
I agree. I don't want to see you either. I just think because they're going to be playing with something to prove. So
Okay. Ralph?
I'm same with you. I got the Rays in that first wild card spot. They're just that pesky team that again finds a way. And then the second wild card I put the Twins. I think the Twins get in on the second wild card.
Do they make it past the wild card game? Don't think so. Not against the
Nah.
Rays.
Nah.
Ryan, what do you got?
So make sure I'm reading my list correctly. I went with Boston and Chicago White Sox.
Boston.
Oh,
Boston.
wow. Two
My
sleeper
prediction,
picks.
yeah, that's a
Wow.
single right there.
Where's
So I'm
Boston
going. They're not going to have a
coming
good
from?
season. I don't think they're going to have a good season again with their.
But you think they're going to get lucky
Cheating
enough to
and-
get into the
So-
the Astros.
No. Well, like Boston going back with their
Oh.
replay and all that kind of stuff and everything like that. And going more that route. But I don't know. I think they're going to start off slow and not gain the momentum to get back. I don't know. Is it if Benintendi's going to really produce? If JD
Wait,
Martinez
so
is going to produce?
are you for them getting the wild card, or are you?
Oh yeah, I'm for. Yeah, they're my wild card pick.
Okay. All right. Ralph. We went with Ralph. Frankie.
So I have the same as you, Nick. I have the Rays in the first spot, and I have the White Sox in the second. So
Okay.
I mean,
We did
as I
not
said
speak
before-
offline. Ralph and I called each other to make sure we matched. Frank and I did not link up.
I don't think we have anything to match except golf shirts.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, because we shop for each other. Well, that's a little weird. All right. Anyway, okay. So let's go championship series and then winner. So, Ralph, go ahead. Start with your American League Championship series and then the ultimate winner. I mean, this is predictable.
I have Yankees championship series versus the Astros. And then I have the Dodgers versus the Braves in the NL. And then if we all go back to the first episode we did, I said right then and there, I think it's going to be a Yankees-Dodgers World Series.
Okay.
I think we know who I'm picking for the championship.
Yeah, we got it.
I think we all know who I'm going to pick in that game.
Ryan, what do you got championship series for both?
Championship. So I have Yankees Houston again. I think rematch of last year. I know that was a tough series to watch. Me and Nick were actually at one of the games. I forget exactly which one it was. It was the
Third
one. It was
game.
that Yankee, third game where Yankees won. That was a ball to go to. But again, I think it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, just to see the rematch of last year.
Yeah, I don't enjoy looking. I don't
I know.
look forward to it. All right, what's your National League?
The National League, I went with Brewers and Dodgers.
Okay, all right, and
You scared me for a second there, Ryan, with the Brewers. I'm like, whoa, who's the second team he's putting in there?
I know, yeah. No, but
and your World Series matchup, and I think we know your winner.
my World Series matchup, and I have Yankees Dodgers.
Yankees,
With
Dodgers,
the Yankees
winning
coming
it.
clutch and winning it, taking home the pennant.
Okay, Frankie.
All right, American League. I have Yankees, Astros. I think the Astros still have a lot of talent, even though they're cheaters. But I have the Yankees coming out on that championship. NL, I have Dodgers and Mets. Maybe it's because I'm a Mets fan, but obviously if the Mets make the playoffs, it's because of all these ifs are working for them. So I think if they can get in, they can go deep. However, I think the Dodgers are still going to beat them and play the Yankees in the World Series. And I hate to say it, I'd rather stick needles in my eye, but I think the Yankees are going to win the World Series.
28
And then
championships.
I'm never going to hear the end of it.
No, it'll be a long off season.
Anything
All
can
right.
happen again. Going back, anything could happen in the short season.
Anything can happen. So for my American League, I am going Yankees Rays championship
Ooh.
series.
Little division matchup. Nice.
How fun would that be?
That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun.
And obviously the victors would be Yankees. And in the National League, I am going Dodgers Brewers. And I do believe that the Dodgers will come out on top with the Yankees beating the Dodgers in the World Series, securing their 28th World Series championship. All right, that was fun. So
And if all the stars align, maybe we'll actually get a Yankees-Mets Subway Series World Series again, and we'll just repeat 2000.
that'd be fun.
The right result is going to come out that time.
No, the right
Yeah,
result
just
already. The right result came out the first time.
That was a
It's not,
blip.
it's not like the result's going to change from 2000.
I know. No, I like that team too back in 2000.
Bobby Valentine, a lot of good.
Although now I think aren't Yankees and Mets are playing September 11th, aren't they this year?
Next year.
Next year.
Oh, next year, yeah.
Okay,
Next year at Citi Field.
Gotcha.
All right, so let's run through quick a couple of our predictions for MVP and Cy Young. I am going to start with Cy Young. I think it is a clear cut. I think the NL, I think Jacob deGrom is going to take his third consecutive Cy Young. And I got to go with my $327 million man, Garrett Cole. He's going to take home a Cy Young for the New York Yankees. Frank, what do you got?
I have the same thing as you. I do think the two best pitchers in baseball are in New York. So I do think the number one is on the Mets, but we'll see. We'll see when we play each other in the World Series. But I think Cole and deGrom, clear cut. I don't really see anybody challenging them.
Okay, right guy.
So I went for AL. I went with Garrett Cole. Again, he looked sharp in his couple preseason or his the summer camp outings, everything like that. Just overall, even last year, his numbers were pretty decent. Then for NL, I went with Max Scherzer. I thought it was an interesting pick. I was looking at his last season's numbers. He had 11 wins, 7 losses. He had an ERA of 2.92. 172
Not as good as
innings
DeGrom's.
pitched. Again, yeah, it's not as good as DeGrom. I mean, I was kind of throwing the curveball there. DeGrom is, if he's, he would have had many more wins if the Mets could win games. But
No, it's fun to go against the grain. That's good.
yeah, no, DeGrom's definitely up there. I can definitely see him, looking good and everything, but definitely up there. But I went with Scherzer. I think he would be an interesting number.
That's a good pick.
Yeah, very
okay.
good.
No, it's a good
He
pick.
would have gotten it if it wasn't DeGrom last year, I think.
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
I think
yeah.
He was definitely.
And the year before that, too,
behind.
right?
Absolutely. It's just those two battling it out all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him
Ralph,
and
what do you
Reed.
got? Yeah.
I'm with you and Frank, Nick. I went with deGrom in the NL and Cole in the AL. Again, those two are just the top two pitchers in the league right now. They really are. And
Okay.
I mean, Cole now being the ace of the Yankees, he has to prove. He has something to prove.
Somebody's doggo agrees. All right.
I want to do a breaking news right here. I have
What?
a breaking news coming over my phone.
Who's hurt?
Altuve and Bregman hit by pitches.
Oh,
Royals pitcher
I did.
George Lopez hits Altuve and Bregman back to back.
Yep.
There you go. Oh.
It's already
Okay.
starting.
It's starting. Oh yes.
Can I
Did we ever
change
get
my
a-
playoff predictions because I just want to see them play the Yankees?
There's
so
going to be
they
a
get
lot of injured
beamed.
list.
Did we ever find an over under, Ryan, for how many times the Astros can get hit in the first game of the season?
No, I need to look up something. Maybe we could post it on our like page exactly what the over under is, but definitely we need to look into it. And it's not on any of the major
Of course
sports
not.
books.
Yeah,
it's
they
probably
don't
on one
want
of
to
those.
condone violence.
Yeah, it's probably on one of those deep Vegas sports books. You really got to dig the internet for.
All right. MVP, Ryan, go.
Go with my man Mookie Betts. I think.
Man, you're high on Mookie.
I know. I liked him on Boston. I was a big fan
Are you
of him.
sure
on
you're a
Boston.
Yankees fan?
I definitely am a Yankees fan. You can see my shirt. Well, maybe I need to get a Mookie Betts jersey because I've definitely been saying his name a lot today.
Yeah.
Last year, he had right under 600 at bats, 176 hits, 29 home runs, batting average 2.95. I think with the shortened season, if he comes out hot, he has potential.
Okay. What's your NL? Your AL, sorry.
AL, I didn't do an AL. Come back to me.
Frank.
AL MVP.
Yep.
We're gonna go Aaron Judge.
Yeah, the boy.
All right. You know who I was actually thinking instead of if it wasn't Aaron Judge, Stanton. If he can stay healthy, I think he looks really good. If he can stay healthy, maybe he, I don't know, you got two giants over there. So I have to say Aaron Judge, and my NL is gonna be Jeff McNeil.
Ooh.
All right. He's an all-star, and man, the guy's a hard out. And he definitely, when the Mets are down, he gives that team a boost. So I'm going to go Jeff McNeil.
Okay. I like the against the grain. Ralphie, what do you got?
For my NL, I'm actually going to go with Acuna on the Braves. I just, again, shortened season.
Me and Frankie don't like Acuna.
The last time someone in the NL won back-to-back MVPs was Pujols back, I think, in 08, 09.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see a lot of back-to-back MVP winners. Even Mike Trout hasn't won back-to-back MVPs. So I don't see that. I don't see that happening again with Bellinger. But I do think Acuna is gonna use a shortened season to take a MVP for himself. MVP in the AL, I pick Judge as well. If he can stay healthy, the way he looked in these last 3 games, swinging the bat, if he can stay on the field, I think he'll take the MVP. Although, to what I alluded before earlier, here's a out there prediction. With the shortened season, I would not be surprised to see Luis Roberts get Rookie of the Year and MVP.
Whoa.
From Chicago with the way he's looked, and if he plays up to what he's hyped up to be, it would not surprise me to see him get MVP and AL Rookie of the Year.
I am not surprised by anything anymore. I mean, Derek Jeter got 1 no vote for the Hall of Fame.
This is true.
Not surprised by anything.
And now Boston Red Sox fans are going to have to be cheering for a guy named Jeter.
That is the best. That's the best FU in the world. Ryan, did you find
I was going to go Judge.
Okay. Fair enough.
He's starting off hot. He's hitting the home runs. Hopefully, the Yankees will have men on base where he can drive them in and get more of the RBIs.
DJ LeMahieu.
His defense, Judge's defense, also gives him a huge step up.
I agree. Yep.
So.
Okay. All right. NL. I am going Yelich. I think he is going to bounce back. I think he's going to have a great year. I think he's going to do big things this year. I'm excited to watch him play. I think he's a great player. I think he is going to have an explosive year. My AL MVP is my boy, DJ LeMahieu. I think DJ is going to come with the heat. He's going to get his on base percentage last year was just –
it was ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. And having him in the leadoff spot, which I think Boone is going to have him in the leadoff spot behind Judge, makes sense, right?
Yep.
Along with Stanton behind him. It's just he's going to always be on base. He's going to have such a high on-base percentage again. And I just think he is going to do a lot of things for the Yankees with runners in scoring position too. I think he's just going to have a fantastic year, and I hope he gets rewarded with a huge contract.
Oh, yeah. And it's not like last year was a fluke for LeMahieu. So LeMahieu was just as good in Colorado as he was last year.
Has always been like this. He is a consistent player. Yep. And the Yankees stole DJ LeMahieu.
Oh, yeah. It's because Colorado never gets any love.
Yep. So, all right. That rounds it out. Let's go around the horn. Final thoughts, Frankie.
One thing I want to talk about, I know there's a category there that's comeback player of the year for NL and AL. I just want to give 2 quick things. I think for the American League, I think Andujar, I think he can definitely be a contender, or Stanton. Both of those guys were really hurt, so I think they have a good shot. And hopefully either Cespedes or Yelich come do the comeback player for National League. I mean, Yelich, I think it was kind of stunk that he got hurt towards the end there, but to have him come back after that injury, that would be great to see and good for baseball.
Yeah, I agree. I was thinking about that too, and honestly, my mind went immediately to Jordan Montgomery.
Mhm.
If he can have a bounce back after Tommy John and being out, and only pitched a couple games last year, and then this year, I think he has a chance to move up to at least 3 or 4 spot in the rotation, in the Yankees rotation. Because let's face it, J-Hap, not sold on him. I think he's kind of regressing in his career. We could talk about the analytics of the Yankees pitchers at another date and see what kind of is flowing. But I saw good stuff from him the other night when he was pitching. He was pitching so well.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan, what do you got? Final thoughts.
Just looking forward for the season. I mean, I've said it numerous times this podcast. It's a shortened season. Anything could happen. I mean, everything we could say completely be upside down and wrong and all that. It's just, I think with the, everything going on with the coronavirus and everything like that, I think that's going to be a big factor. I actually hope it's not a big factor, but that could play a factor in the outcome of the season, the amount of games played, travel restrictions and all that kind of stuff. It just, I mean, got to see what happens. Shortened season, lots of variables, a lot of things that can come into play, but we just got to see what happens.
Great, Ralph.
So 2 things that have continually circled my mind is, do we see a pitcher go undefeated this year? And 2, do we finally see another 400 hitter this year with the shortened season? Those are 2 things that have been
interesting
circulating. And maybe, who knows, maybe DeGrom and Cole both go undefeated this year with they'll probably get 12 starts if you have a solid 5-man rotation the entire year.
Something like that.
So,
yeah.
And then they face each other in the World Series, and then someone has to lose.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But actually, to go back to your point, comeback player of the year, though, Frank, someone also maybe to look out for, because he didn't have nearly as good a season last year as he normally has, Joey Votto.
Yes.
Joey Votto did not play his normal caliber last year. He could bounce back and maybe give a run at that 400 number.
Interesting.
I agree. He was on my fantasy and did not do well last year, so
no, he
I
did
blame
not.
him.
Remember this episode has been recorded, and this will be played back to see who was right and who was wrong. Thanks for hosting with me today. Had a lot of fun. I think I always like talking futures and wild picks. I think everybody had some controversy. Before we sign off, though, I forgot to mention we have merch. We have merch. We have Seriously Butthurt koozies made by Got 'em Customized, local business in New Jersey. Yeah, look, the guys got them. Frankie, I didn't
Got some
see
stickers
yet.
too.
Yeah,
I didn't get mine.
There it is.
Because you didn't play golf.
Apparently,
with us
Frankie
the other
didn't get
day.
his.
That's okay. Frankie didn't get his, but we're excited to have merch. If you want some, all we're going to ask you to do is add 10 people to our like page on Facebook. If you do it, DM us a screenshot of it, send it to us, and we'll send one out to you. Easy as that. So like our Facebook page. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, and today we just got approved for iHeartRadio. So I hope you listen, subscribe, follow, smash that like button, as Frankie says. And we'll talk to you next week. We'll break down the opening week of the season and talk to you soon. Thanks for listening to Seriously Butthurt Sports.